Alrighty, YouTube, Niner Empire, what is going down? Welcome back to another video. Haason Reddick is already talking smack ahead of this Week 13 matchup with the 49ers traveling to Philadelphia to take on the Eagles. Haason Reddick went on a radio show yesterday after the overtime win they had against the Bills and talked about how the 49ers get to come back in the link. It was a lot of boo-hoos last year. A lot of crying, a lot of what if, a lot of this, a lot of that. Excuse me. He said they get a chance to come back in here, line that shit up, and prove it again. And they do. They do get another shot. And this time it's with the healthy team. It's with the healthy quarterback. Hopefully. I mean, obviously last year we know what happened in the NFC Championship game with Brock Purdy going down, not being able to play those 4 full quarters. And then, obviously the game wasn't even close because the 49ers didn't have anybody to throw the football. And then obviously Josh Johnson comes in after Brock Purdy goes down, and then Josh Johnson suffers a concussion. So the 49ers, all in all, as everybody knows, just simply had bad luck last year going into that NFC Championship game. And this year, the game don't mean more. Being in Week 13 and obviously not being in a playoff game. But I think all in all, this 49ers team is looking at this game right here as the Super Bowl before the Super Bowl. And I would expect the Philadelphia Eagles to be probably thinking the same thing as well. I think everybody knows it's going to either be the 49ers or Eagles to come out of the NFC. Those are the two best teams in the NFL. Those are the two most complete teams in all of the NFL. The Lions, you look at the Lions, and they're, a young rising team, but, they don't, it seems like the Lions are missing something, and I don't know what it is, but I'm not trying to knock the Lions because I do genuinely think they have a good football team, but, they're not going to match up well with the 49ers or the Eagles. And then you look at the Cowboys, and the Niners beat those Cowgirls by 32, and then they have a good game against Philadelphia but still can't get the job done. So I don't even know if Dallas is going to win a playoff game though, because we understand and know how they perform when the season's on the line, especially Dak Prescott. But yes, I mean, everybody knows when it's all said and done, it's either going to be the Philadelphia Eagles or the Philadelphia Eagles or the 49ers, not the Cowboys, to come out of the NFC. It's one of them things where this is a big game for the Philadelphia Eagles too. I mean, if you look at the Eagles, they're 10-1, at home against an 8-3 49ers team. The 49ers have a chance to beat the Eagles and win out and potentially get that number 1 seed. But when it's all said and done, I think everybody can probably agree on that. The 49ers are probably not going to be able to get that number 1 seed, just considering the way things have played out up until this point. And then when Philly's only 10-1 through 12 weeks of the NFL season, Philly's got a gauntlet schedule coming up. I mean, to be honest, I thought the Kansas City Chiefs were going to beat the Philadelphia Eagles, but we understand what happened in that game. Realistically, though, I see the Philadelphia Eagles losing at least 2 more games. The previous month of football that they've played, their games have been decided by less than 7 points. They've struggled a lot. Jalen Hurts has turned the ball over a lot. So really, in all reality, I see Philadelphia at least losing 2 more games. And, one of those games can be this upcoming week when the 49ers play them. Now, obviously, with the 49ers, their schedule is going to be tough. It's been tough ever since, the Niners have came out of that bye week. But luckily, they've won 3 straight coming out of the bye week. They have a chance to make it 4 straight wins, beating the Philadelphia Eagles. And if the 49ers can beat the Eagles this week, the Niners will improve to 9-3. Philly will drop to 10-2. If Philly loses again after the 49ers beat them, the number 1 seed in the NFC playoffs will then be determined on the Week 13 game versus the 49ers and Eagles to get the number 1 seed in the playoffs. So this is a big game, especially for the Niners. I mean, clearly, the Niners are going to win the NFC West. I think that's pretty set in stone now. Seattle's probably the worst 6-win team in the NFL. I really don't know how they have 6 wins. But the 49ers are by far, without a doubt, for one, the best team in the NFC West, but they're easily, the best team in the NFC as well, in my opinion. I mean, you can obviously make the case that the Philadelphia Eagles are just because they're 10-1 and things of that nature, but I think when you look at both teams, the 49ers are more experienced, and deep in the playoffs and in bigger games than the Eagles are. And not only that, but when it's all said and done, I trust Kyle Shanahan more than I trust Nick Sirianni. Nick Sirianni needs humbled, and I think he will be humbled this upcoming week when the Niners beat him. That's neither here or there, though. But look, I mean, again, this is a monster game for the 49ers. Clearly, they want to get their vengeance on what happened in the NFC Championship. Then you look at the Eagles, and the Eagles want to get their point across that they're the more superior team over San Francisco, with or without Brock Purdy. But clearly, I think we can all agree on that this game will be much different than the NFC Championship game. Again, I mean, the 49ers will have a thrower of the football in this game. That's always a help, of course. And then you look at like the Eagles, and like I said, I mean, they haven't impressed me all season, to be completely honest. They really haven't beat anybody good, except for the Chiefs. I don't want to hear anything about the Bills because the Bills are 6-6 for a reason. But I mean, when you look at Philly, they rank in the bottom 6 teams when it comes to passing defense. Their defense is not that great. What makes Philly so good is their offense. And San Francisco matches up with that Philly offense perfectly, especially the 49ers front 7, versus the Eagles offensive line and things of that nature. So, I mean, truth be told, I think the 49ers have the edge in this game. They are opening up as favorites in this game as well. I think they're 2.5-point favorites or something like that, which is honestly surprising considering we're going to be traveling to Philly. They beat us in the NFC Championship. They are 10-1, which is the best record in the NFL. But Vegas likes the 49ers, and I do too, personally. But no, I mean, I think, it's going to be a battle. I think, it's going to be a battle of two of the most physical teams in the NFL going at it. Jalen Hurts turns the ball over a lot. He hasn't been great this year whatsoever. I mean, it's not really being talked about a lot because Philadelphia is, they have the best record in the NFL, but Jalen Hurts has turned the ball over a lot. And I think when you look at Jalen Hurts, he struggles when you get pressure on him. And San Francisco has 15 sacks in the last 3 weeks, hoping to make that even more when they play the Philadelphia Eagles. So I think obviously like one of the bigger keys going into this game will be the 49ers defensive line getting pressure on Jalen Hurts. But I'm not going to dive into everything because obviously that's for the preview video. But no, I mean, I think, again, I'm kind of happy Haason Reddick is smoke talking the 49ers already because I think that gives the 49ers a little more fuel going into this game. And again, I mean, I think when you look at it, the 49ers have more to play for. They're not leading in the NFC. They're not the 1 seed. They want the playoffs to run through San Francisco and through Levi Stadium. And, they want to, make their point right last year about they should have won that game had Brock Purdy not got hurt. And again, I'm not going to guarantee that the 49ers would have won the game, but clearly they would have had a better shot. I mean, we didn't have a thrower of the football. We just had to be one-dimensional the whole entire game and run it. So I think the 49ers want to make a clear point that they, are the better team by winning this game. And I think they want to add to their point of, they would have won the game if Brock Purdy was playing the entire time. And then Philly wants to make sure that they prove to San Francisco that, with or without Brock Purdy, we are the more superior team. So there's a lot at stake for this game. This is arguably the biggest game of the NFL season. Like I said, I mean, it's two of the best teams in the NFL going head-to-head. In a way, there's kind of an ignited rivalry now between the Niners and the Eagles just because of what transpired last year and I mean, again, there's a lot at stake. I think this Philly team kind of reminds me a lot of the Legion of Boom years with the Seattle Seahawks. Obviously, the 49ers hated them. They still do. They still hate the Seahawks. But I think, like, as a 49ers fan, when I look at my most hated teams in the NFL, number one is Philadelphia. It has to be. Just because of what transpired last year. Nobody likes Philadelphia. I don't like Nick Sirianni. And I'm sure, the Eagles fans and the Eagles in general really don't give a shit about what other people think. But Nick Sirianni needs humbled. I think he will be humbled. I think Kyle Shanahan will have him in a blender come Sunday. We'll see what happens. It's going to be a battle, though. It's going to probably be a game that's decided by less than 5 points, I would probably say. It could come down to a game-winning field goal from either team. So, a lot at stake. But again, going back to this Haason Reddick thing, I definitely think the 49ers have the edge in this for one. And I like how Haason Reddick is talking because, again, it only adds more motivation to the 49ers going into this game. So, Haason Reddick, keep talking. We'll let the talking, or we'll let the game do the talking for us. I'm sure, there's going to be chirping all game from the Eagles defense and the Eagles offense. I mean, this game is going to be electric. But again, I mean, we can talk about what happened last year. None of that matters. None of that really matters. What's happened has already happened, and that's in the past for a reason. And, the 49ers are going to look forward at this game and make their statement. But again, I mean, Philadelphia hasn't impressed me all year at all. They've let bad teams compete against them. Dallas almost beat them. So Philly doesn't impress me. But one thing about Philly is, and I think I've already said this, but one thing about Philly is no matter what the score is, no matter how bad they are playing, they find ways to win football games. They did it against Kansas City. They did it against Buffalo. So when you look at the 49ers, it's, you get out to an early lead, you keep your foot on the gas and soar towards a victory. So obviously that's easier said than done because like the Eagles, the 49ers are going to have to be on their A game as well. But I mean, what's better than this? Two of the best teams in the NFL going head-to-head, and the chirping starting early.